We threw and caught the ball better. I didn't think we had many mental errors. As I'm talking to you, we're in the middle of it right now, and I'm excited about how we practice. So hopefully we can continue to improve tomorrow, clean up some of the areas that we have to clean up on, and then get really honed in the final 48.
Any of the starting jobs that were still near, like a strong side, sort of finalized yet?
No, I don't think so. And again, we'll work through that. And a lot of those, Manny, are going to come down to the special teams. You know, who's beating out who on special teams. Everybody that's a starter on our team has a role on special teams. And if they don't, they're not a starter. So we'll make sure we continue to evaluate throughout the day and communicate to the guys. But obviously, we'll be playing a lot of guys on both sides.
When do those decisions come to be? When will you tell the players?
We're telling them every day. They know exactly where they're at, regardless of what they may say to you. They know that they are communicated to. It's no excuse policy. And again, I'm always hammering home to the coaches to make sure they communicate that on a daily basis. We don't want any surprises. We don't want anybody not to know where they stand. And that will go right on through tomorrow's practice.
That there is a cutoff time after tomorrow's practice, or is there any time when you will say this is the depth chart, this is what we're going with, and this is how we're preparing?
Well, I think I speak for all coaches as long in America. If the guys are fired, if the guys are locked in and are doing things right, the depth chart doesn't change. If guys don't do a good job on their test, or are being late for meetings or not focused, the depth chart changes. So we just make sure that we got them focused and they know exactly what their role is in the game. That's what's important to us.
How is there anybody that won't be able to play that maybe we don't know about, or you've forgotten to tell us that,
No, I don't
any
think.
surprises like that?
Absolutely not. No.
Any update on Preston Dewey?
No, just that he'll be joining the team shortly, and we'll move forward from there.
It's been said that 7 offensive linemen will be the rotation, but
yeah.
I've heard 8. Do you feel, how close are you to 8?
Yeah, I've been in between 7 and 8. With Taylor's right on the cusp. Gavois, he's made a lot of improvement. The other 7 are more veteran than him, obviously, but certainly 7 will be going in throughout. We'll finish looking at the tape here and see how he does in his final practice tomorrow. But that will determine how much Taylor gets.
How's Sonny doing?
Sonny's doing good. Sonny's doing good, and Alex Gall are doing good. They're just not in that rotation right now. Of course, Danny was Isadora, and he got hurt, but I think we'll get him back sooner than we thought. But so as I told Alex Gall and Hunter Wells and Sonny Adagwa after practice today, you got to keep working and keep getting better and keep developing your skills, because it's a long season and they got to work their way into that rotation. I would like to see that rotation expand, to be quite honest with you.
Is it back to football for Alex, or is he still dealing with the hand? Is that something?
No, he's doing good.
Yeah.
He's doing good.
Okay.
Alex is a good football player. He's going to be good. He's just got to keep working and learning.
Denzel said there was a point maybe in camp where he felt like he got a little lax and had to kind of be reminded, how hard you have to work to kind of keep your spot. But it seems like he's done that.
He has. He's responded. Beast. The last 5 or 6 practices, you could say, are as good as any that he's ever had here. And again, I don't want to say it was a low or whatever. Because that would be taken away from Tyrone, because Tyrone went after it in camp and was really on his heels, and at some point got even with him, and then I think Denzel answered back. But certainly Denzel has the capability to take it to another level in terms of his habits, and he knows that, and we got to keep pushing him to do that until it becomes habit.
How's Renfro doing?
Renfro's doing great.
Yeah.
He's got his weight down. He's in good condition. Again, he's a very smart young man, so he's learned it quickly, and all those guys will be playing a lot. We'll see a lot of him.
Is Gus Edwards catching up after the time
he is? Gus is doing well. We like Gus. He's it's easy to classify him as a big back, but he's also a guy who has lateral quickness and acceleration. So just because he's big doesn't mean he's not elusive. But we like Gus, and I think OT and Dallas have had a real good camp, so they've kind of separated from him. But I think as he gets back into it now, he's going to have something to say before it's all said and done.
Just to clarify with Gus, he wouldn't be practicing if he wasn't totally clear, right, in terms of the academic and the clearinghouse. And all
Again, anything that comes from the clearinghouse or compliance, if they're not cleared to go, if anybody on the team is not cleared to go, then we shut it down and we don't mess with it. So if everything is good to go, then we're good to go, and if not, we will make note of it. But right now, we're preparing for those guys to play.
How does Walter Tucker factor in initial rotations?
Yeah. So Walter's done a great job preparing. He's not in the rotation right now. If something were to happen to a running back or Mo, then we would get him, into the rotation. But right now we're trying to protect him. He could easily play special teams for us. He can run. He's 225 pounds. He can easily do that. But we don't want to just play him on that if we don't think he's going to develop into a role. It's a long season. You guys know that. Everything changes between now and October. So what we're doing is we're preparing him for an opportunity if it arises. If not, we'll just continue to try to get him better. But we really like him.
Curtis was wearing the black jersey today. You
Yeah.
were saying something about back issues the past couple of days,
Yeah,
but he looked okay.
Yeah, no, he looked okay. He looked better today. I think the 2 days off helped him, and then he fought through it yesterday, and he looked a lot better today. So I don't suspect there'll be any issue by the time the game comes around. We're really talking, 3+ days now. So it's a lot of time for a Friday night game. I think it'll be fine.
Do you think Dion will be ready? Or?
It's going to be close. It's going to be close.
Sorry.
He's further behind than some of the guys were, but it's going to be close. We're preparing. It would be great. It would be a bonus if he was ready. Put it that way, okay?
Is there anything he can't do, or is it just that he's just doing things slower?
Slower. Yeah. I think he's cleared medically. We've doubled and triple checked to make sure we're not putting the young man in any jeopardy or anything. So we feel good about where we are medically. And now it's a question of him playing fast in his mind, getting in great shape, and playing at a better speed.
In a perfect scenario for this game, would you like to get a lot of players in there? First game.
We're
We're
a team that wants to play a lot of players anyway, so it has nothing to do with talking about the opponent, and that's the way I would phrase it. We are getting ready for a 4-quarter war against FAU, and that's it. But it has nothing to do with we want to play. I'm always talking about playing a lot of guys. We want to play a lot of guys, regardless of who we're playing.
Does that include quarterbacks too? No,
No,
as far as getting backup quarterbacks in, if
No,
you could.
I'm not going there, Susan. And I appreciate you guys can speculate on all that, but we have a great quarterback, and he's going to play.
How important are those first few series in the game? Because there's not a lot of game film going on with FAU in terms of their offense.
Yeah.
Defensively, they can switch things up. How important are those first few
They're going
series?
to. They're going to switch things up. They're going to switch things up in all 3 phases, and we have to rely on some poise, some experience, and communicate what we see. Get that communicated on the sideline, and use some of our experience, and then adjust. I don't think there's any question that, and not just the fact that they're doing things that we're not ready for. Game speed is game speed now, and there's only one way to practice that. We try to scrimmage. You guys know we try to scrimmage. Here and there and do all that, but you're talking about everybody selling out on every play now, and we got to adjust quickly and be ready for the tempo.
I was going to ask specifically about their quarterback situation, the fact that they don't have a starter,
Yeah.
and how difficult that makes it for the defense maybe to prepare
It
3 different
does.
guys.
We think they're more similar than dissimilar, but there'll be some, tricks up their sleeve. There's no question about it. But at the end of the day, we're preparing to see both those guys, and as I said yesterday, they have a deep threat guy as well. So it's not like you can just sit in there and pack it and not worry about that. So we got to be careful with that. Everybody's got to play their assignment. It's going to be a little bit like Kansas State or Bethune in that regard, in terms of just doing a lot of the ride and decide option, then pulling it, keeping it, having a lead blocker. So we're working. I'm trying to make that simple so that you guys can understand what I'm saying. But those are the things that we're working with. A lot of quarterback runs, and I think it's important that our guys are ready for that.
How much did you guys stress gap assignments and staying with guys this week, especially
It's huge.
with the read option?
Huge. With with that operation that we believe that we're going to see, it's huge. And everybody's got to have gap control. We've got to have integrity. We've got to be able to stay square. We can't have guys just running up the field or taking the easy way out and leaving a gap there. So, again, we should be markedly improved there in terms of just our poise and our ability to communicate and all be in the right gaps. And we got to use our experience. The reason you play all those guys last year is so you're not having that discussion this year. If they get a a big play earlier, they get a seam on us early to get to the sideline or adjust, as the series is going on. That's going to be really important for these guys. Otherwise, we're not really drawing back or drawing from all that experience that we have from a year ago.
Any more for Al?
That's good.
I'd ask you when I'm scared you're going to yell at me. No, I'm kidding. I want to ask about the crowd. I always ask you, would it be nice to have a nice...
She's got to always ask the crowd.
I got to ask the crowd opening day.
I think there will be a good crowd. I really do. I think there'll be a good crowd. I think I think we're going to get a lot of walk-ups. In terms of both universities. I'd be really surprised if we didn't get a big crowd from the FAU people as well. Again, we're celebrating Howard Schellenberger in addition to the '83 team, the national championship team. But obviously, Howard's somebody that means a lot to South Florida, not just FAU and University of Miami, but the Miami Dolphins. So I think we will get a good crowd. And to be honest with you, our kids deserve a big crowd. They really do. They've worked hard. They've fought through a lot. And we got some guys that we believe are worth seeing. So hopefully be a good crowd for us. And I know our kids are excited. They really are.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, guys. You guys
Thank
are
you.
great.